All right, guys, I know it's a little noisy in here because they're moving stuff around. I'm in a dealership that works on buses. This is going to be a second part. The first one last week, you guys saw the one that was indoors, and now we're in the shop. Today we've got Jonathan. Thank you so much for meeting up with me. I appreciate it, man. So this is his Epic. This is 68.
Yeah,
68 Epic, and then that's a Mac box. There aren't many people that need two full-size boxes like that. That is sweet. So which one did you get first?
so I've had this one for about 10 years.
Wow. Didn't they just start making them at that point?
Yeah, that's when the Epic, I believe, was first released. They were doing a pretty good deal on them when they first came out.
That is
and it was time
awesome.
for me to upgrade from what I had.
Yeah.
The unfortunate thing about that is now they come with all kinds of extra stuff like power drawers and
Oh, gotcha.
the lighted tops. I had to make my own.
Oh, you made this?
Yeah, so
No
I bought some
way.
butcher block from Home Depot, glued it together and cut it to size,
Wow.
and then I added the light on the bottom of it
That is sweet.
so that I can see inside all my drawers.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Man, so we're working on buses here. How long have you been working on buses?
On buses, about 12 years now.
12 years. Wow. So were you in like automotive before that, or?
Yeah, before that I was a fleet mechanic for cement trucks.
Oh, wow. So you've always been doing like heavy stuff then.
Yeah, well, I mean, not always. I started out in small automotive.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I moved into heavy because it pays better.
Nice. That's a good reason though. And then that one, did you get not too long after this one, or?
This one I've only had for maybe 2 years. I got it for a deal. I was looking for a top for this, but the price for a top for that box was about 4 times as much what I paid for this box. So I lucked out on this one. I got a screaming deal. I cleaned it up. I put the cabinet on there, and I raised it up so I wouldn't hit my head on it.
Whoa, that's awesome. How did you make these? That's sweet.
That's just a 4x4 square tube
Wow, that's cool.
that I welded end plates on.
That is perfect.
But
Yeah, I love
it was
that.
a little
Like,
short
this
for
is-
me, and yeah, and I did on purpose try to get them as close as
Yeah.
possible.
Oh, that's cool. Man, for being black, like you keep this thing really clean.
Well, I did just wipe it down.
Oh,
but
did you? Still though, like there's no, I don't see any like major scratches or anything for being.
Yeah, I mean the biggest
Full-time.
blemish on it is I used to have to move this around the shop, and one of the times I come across a door hinge,
Oh no.
and yeah, it was pretty sad when I did that. But
Oh no.
it's Toolbox. Sometimes
Yeah. Always got to get
happen.
the first one out of the way. And then,
yeah, yeah, still hurt. Top drawer. I try to
Oh.
keep all my sockets and
crap, that is just
drives in it.
jam packed.
I also got all my torque wrenches. I keep them in the box because they're a fair amount of money, but these do get used pretty often.
This one just came out not too long ago, right?
It's been out, I think, for 5-6 years.
Oh, okay.
But I had the predecessor to this, but when we're torquing hose clamps and stuff on these, sometimes the predecessor was about the same size as the 3/8. So it was about this size, but with a
no
quarter drive head on it. So getting this into some tight spaces wasn't working out too well.
And then this is the 1/2 inch.
Yeah, it's essentially the same thing, just, bigger.
Oh man. So do you get these like calibrated every so often, or?
Yeah, we can check them on the truck.
Okay.
And, I think the furthest calibration on one of these is maybe out 2 years.
Oh, okay. Man. And so these, like all these sockets, do you have a brand that you follow, or is it?
Not necessarily, because it's cost prohibitive to stick with one brand. In my opinion, obviously, the Snap-on ones are the nicest to use. But if it's something that's really large in size, you can get away with the cheaper stuff. These are Tecton.
Okay.
and they've worked fine for me. I've had these are just Pittsburgh, and I've been using these for close to 20 years.
Nice.
So when you get to the bigger sizes, I don't think it matters so much that you spend extra money. It would be nice if you have the means, but
Sure. I agree.
I also need to feed my family.
You're right. I agree. Like the bigger sockets, like the tolerances are much
Yeah.
less important.
Well,
I guess.
and they can take a hit just as well as anything else. I mean, the only thing that you run into sometimes is the wall thickness is definitely thicker on cheap sockets than it is on the expensive ones.
Gotcha. That makes
But
sense.
on stuff that big, it's rarely an issue.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense.
And sometimes you have to make your own stuff.
Oh my gosh, what is that?
So this is a hub off of a man lift that I had to work on at a previous job.
Oh man,
That's a homemade job.
that's awesome.
Every once in a while, you got to make your own stuff.
And then as far as socket organization, it looks like you have these. Are these like?
So right now, I mean, it's fluid. I change it all the time.
Okay.
But right now, I got 3/4, 1/2 inch, 3/8, and then it kind of blends into quarter. And then I got some oddball 3/8 stuff over here.
Oh yeah.
These are all my hex drives, my other hex drives.
Oh yeah. Gosh.
But it doesn't stay this way very long. You know, it depends on what you're doing at the time, how you want this laid out,
Sure.
so that the stuff is quickest and easiest to get to.
Yeah. And it's like looks like you have a snap-on impact and a Mac stubby.
Yeah, and then an Ingersoll 3/8.
Oh nice. How do those treat you?
To be totally honest, I rarely touch these anymore
Oh really?
because like a lot of the guys in the shop, we've mostly migrated to electric.
Oh gotcha. Yeah. that
It's
makes
just
sense.
more convenient to not drag a hose.
Sure, yeah. And as far as like ratchets go, it looks like you have a bunch of different brands. Do you have like a go-to
If
that you reach for?
so, if I'm grabbing 3/8, I always grab this guy.
Oh man, that's sweet. I love that, like the quick,
Yeah.
quick disconnect.
If I'm grabbing 1/2 inch, I usually don't need a small 1/2 inch, so I'm
sure.
usually grabbing my big one.
Nice.
I only really have the one option for 3/4, and that's this old Craftsman,
Awesome.
but it's served me well.
Awesome. And so, what type of work do you guys do on? Like this thing looks crazy.
So
I've never seen a bus that's like. It looks like it's lifted almost.
yeah, so that one runs up and down to mine,
Okay.
and it spends most of its life off-road.
That is wild.
Right now, this is in the shop for basically a total AC rebuild.
Okay.
So it's getting new compressors, new hoses, filters, a total system flush, and we'll see what else. You know, I'm in the process right now.
That's awesome. And it looks like you could barely fit this in here. Like.
Yeah, it's a beast. So next drawer down, I've got my wrenches. I've got a little empty space here because I used to have a box that these were in,
Okay.
and it took up a big old footprint, which sucks when you're trying to squeeze a bunch of tools in here.
Yeah. So are these like you put these inside of a wrench? Is that?
Yeah, it's a pass-through. I guess one of the guys has my wrench, but they're just pass-through sockets.
Oh, nice. And these like rails? These look kind of neat.
Yeah, so because they're a little weird, you can't just use a standard socket rail for
okay.
these. So I printed out my own.
Oh, you like 3D printed that?
Yeah.
No way. That's cool. And as far as wrenches go, I've never seen anybody with the Duralast. These look stout.
Yeah, so a long time ago, I used to work at AutoZone. And so I used my discount to buy Duralast wrenches when I was working out of my garage. And they've honestly served me well enough because I've had them for 20 years.
Man.
And they don't even sell the big sizes anymore. I've got up to 1.5 inches.
Oh, that's massive.
Yeah, and standard and metric. But for other stuff, I haven't spent the big money on wrenches. I mean, these are probably the most expensive thing in here. Well, aside from the crow's feet.
Oh, nice.
Those cost money a lot, way too much. But
What are these? I've never heard of.
Jaeger, yeah, that's a good Amazon brand.
Oh,
so
okay.
I have the Blue Point, mini set that they had, but
Nice.
I needed these other sizes for a couple jobs, mainly 15/16.
Nice.
So I just went for the cheap because it wasn't something that I needed to put a whole lot of torque through.
Sure.
I just needed it to ratchet.
Gotcha.
So
Man, it is like eerily quiet in here. Like it gets quiet when everything turns off.
yeah.
And then this big, huge crow's foot set, is this?
Yeah, so these we use mostly for like transmission cooler lines and stuff.
And then these organizers, is this something that?
Yeah, that's future expansion. So these two organizers came as a set,
Oh, okay.
and I just have not broke down and got the metric crow's feet yet.
Yeah, and you look like you have like a graveyard of.
So this is mostly from when I used to do cement trucks.
Okay.
You'd have to make some special things depending on what you're working on.
Oh, that looks
Like,
wild.
I think this was for hydraulic spool valves when I used to have to do those. Because where they were, you couldn't get straight on them.
Huh.
So you had to have something like this to be able to get on it. And then, you know, the cut wrenches, if you need a stubby, but you don't want to buy a whole set of something special like that.
Sure.
And then some that I've just shaved down for them to be thin enough to fit in certain places.
Yeah.
So it's good to have a cheap set of wrenches. I mean, I've done all these. These all used to, they all used to be out of this set, or they all were just a standard combination wrench.
Gotcha.
And then if I needed something special, I just grabbed it,
Wow.
heat it up, bend it,
That is.
make what I need.
Make something like that.
They do.
Do they? Okay.
But when you're in a hot need for something and there's not a truck around, you make do with what you have, and that's why it's
so
good
cool.
to have a cheap set of wrenches
Yeah.
and access to a torch, because you can pretty much make what you need. This is where I try to keep all my drivers, screwdrivers, hex drivers and stuff, all the hand tools.
This is a huge set.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually they're like maybe 6 or 7 wide. That's massive. Goodness. And do you like the orange?
That's what they had. I do like it.
Yeah.
That's essentially what they had. It was on sale, you know.
Nice.
So
Yeah. And these are like the micro.
yeah.
Cool.
With any tool truck, it's best to buy it when it's on sale.
Yeah, that's for sure. Oh, this is like a full bit set there. Is that a Cornwell?
Yeah.
Nice. Awesome. And then who makes all those?
These are all Matco.
Those are Matco. Okay.
Yeah.
So do you guys get all the trucks out here? Like,
Right now, we just have Cornwell and Snap-on.
okay.
In the past, I went through a long period of my career where I only had a Mack truck.
Really?
And now I haven't seen a Mack truck in 10 years.
Yeah.
So it's hard to have brand loyalty
Yeah.
when the consistency ain't there. But
Sure.
this is kind of a jumble, but mostly pry bars. These are for O-rings. And then I got my pick assortment, long and short.
Oh, sweet. Yeah.
Scrapers, seal pullers, pry bars, specialty things that I've made for other stuff. Yeah,
That's awesome.
couple cutting things, you know,
Yeah.
scrapers.
Do you like these handles on these newer Cornwell?
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
I honestly haven't used these too much. I've got a set of their picks at home though, and yeah, I like them. I do, prefer the tri-lobe, but I mean, it's steeper price.
Sure. Yeah.
And then pliers and more miscellaneous. So I've got stuff for doing various body work and decals and
Oh,
stuff
okay.
in there. But
Yeah.
this is mostly pliers and filter wrenches.
That's a solid set there.
Yeah.
Huh. Is that a Vice Grip brand?
Yep.
Huh. I didn't know they made like full sets like that.
Well, I think it came off of the Mack truck.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It is Vice Grip brand, but it came off the Mack truck.
Huh.
Same with this. This is my long reach pliers.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But these rarely come out. I don't need them very often,
Gotcha.
thankfully. These are for when you're in trouble
Yeah.
on things.
And that's like a radiator hose.
Yeah, so this is your spring clamp
Yeah.
pliers.
That's
You
awesome.
can set it at wherever, and
And so I saw Matco made one similar where it has the stiff,
yeah.
like the lead.
The advantage to that is that you can usually form it and then snake it in.
Oh,
If you
that's-
can't
see,
fit
that's
your
cool.
hand in there with it,
Right.
it is bulkier than the other one. So it got advantages and disadvantages.
Sure.
This is just the one I have. And this, you know, not much going on here. I got my snap ring pliers.
Oh, that's like a full set there, huh?
I got a couple of specialty tools. I got a camera scope that I can hook up to my computer or phone.
Oh, wow.
But I have my thermal imager.
Whoa, that thing is so cool.
Yeah, this is,
Oh,
when
my
you need
goodness.
it, it's really nice to have. It's great for, especially what I use it the most for is electrical diag. If you've got something that's popping a fuse intermittently, so it's got like a partial short to ground, this, you can pick up the heat of the wire.
Like the resistance. Oh, that is cool.
So, and you can use it for all kinds of different stuff, AC and, you know, obviously anything under the hood if you're looking for cooling issues or heating issues. But I primarily use it for electrical. What I also like is that you can do side by side. So you can have the real image versus the thermal image.
Oh, wow.
And that's, there's tons of different modes on it, but I primarily keep it on this one because that's what I use the most.
That's cool. Man. And then who makes the scope? Is that?
I think I might have got this off the Cornwall truck.
Okay.
But I've wrapped a wire onto it because it was just a floppy cable.
Oh, okay. So it's more
So
stiff,
I
right?
put some mechanics wire on it so that I can feed it into places.
Genius. I've seen those, and like it'd be tough to like if it's just like a loose wire. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's genius.
Well, that's not the only one I have. I also have another scope. I honestly don't even grab for this one anymore.
Oh, okay.
This is my heavy hitting stuff.
Some
So
big stuff.
obviously I need to move some stuff from drawer to drawer because that one above this is fairly empty. This one's fairly full. But I got all my hammers. I've got my bigger pipe wrench. This is a holdover from doing cement truck stuff.
Okay. I was gonna ask, like, what do you use that for? My goodness.
It rarely comes out on school buses.
Oh,
But
man.
then all my cut bearing races that I use for, if you're doing a bearing race and you need to pound a new one in, this is the best tool for it. You just cut a slot in it, and then when you pound in the new race, you've got a perfect surface that's hitting against, so you're not dinging it with a punch or something. And because it's got the slot in it, once it's pushed all the way in, this will pull right out.
That's awesome.
And then these are real valuable to have, the transfer punches.
Wow.
If you're doing any kind of fabrication and you're trying to mimic two things, you pass whatever said size is specific to that hole. You pass this through that hole and you get a punch right perfectly in the center to start your drill. These have been really nice to have for any kind of fabrication. Of course, the hammers.
Do you like these snap-on hammers?
Yes. I mean, the price is ridiculous, but they are the best thing.
That's awesome.
They're so nice to have.
That's kind of weird looking. What's that?
So, I mean, this is just one without the ball peen on the other end.
Oh,
You just got
okay.
a smaller head on one side. And, you know, sometimes you do actually use the small head.
Nice.
This is my Boxo files. This is usually the trouble drawer. If you're having problems with something, this is where you go. So I've got my impact driver.
Who is that, Mac?
Oh, yeah, this is Mac.
Oh, sweet. Yeah.
So,
So
yeah,
does this have like a 5/16 and then like a
5/16 and quarter.
Awesome.
So you can put pretty much anything you want into it. For screws that have stripped out heads, I have a couple options. These things, I've never had much luck with them,
Okay.
but you know, when you're desperate, you'll try anything.
Yeah, it's better to have it and not need it.
Then these ones that grab on the outside of the head,
Oh, sweet. Yeah.
that one's about wore out, but that's the one I use the most. They work okay sometimes. If you got a really hard fastener, they won't grab it. There's my extractor set. So these save the day fairly often.
Nice. Are they pretty strong? I know a lot of them, not a lot, but I've heard of stories of other brands where they just break off when you start using
So
them.
the smaller sizes, I don't think it matters what brand you got. You'll break. You can break these off if you're not careful.
Gotcha.
But I did have an Irwin set before I got this set, and I'd say probably 4 or 5 of those were broken. But that was only like these.
Oh, gotcha.
I didn't have this full comprehensive set.
Awesome.
This is for stud extraction and installation. You screw these onto a stud and then lock them up. It's like doing a double nut where it binds 2 nuts together.
Oh, yeah.
Except for this tends to work better and can handle more torque. I needed it specifically for axle studs, and I have actually broken a few of these. But, you know, luckily they're warranty.
Yeah, I think those are way better than like the cam style. Like
Yeah, well, so when you're done with these, you can reuse the fastener.
Gotcha.
And that, in cases where it's hard to get parts, is incredibly valuable.
Sure.
And then onto the heavy shuffle drawer. So
Goodness.
I keep my 3/4 gun down here because it doesn't get used very often.
Okay.
This is all my 1-inch sockets.
Whoa, my goodness.
So these guys typically only use for doing hub service.
Gosh.
And somehow some of my oil filter wrenches made it down here. Lockout kit. It's amazing how often that ends up being handy.
Awesome.
Around the shop.
Is that what? Who makes that?
That's just Harbor Freight.
Oh, is it?
I just put a long lead on it because
okay.
it worked better for what I was doing at the time. But yeah, this is just a central pneumatic.
Nice.
I mean, it hits hard enough for what I need to do.
Cool.
And then, you know, these are for measuring when you're going to do tire chain installations, the automatic tire chains that some school buses have on them. I don't think we have any here now that have them installed, but you have to take a bunch of measurements before you order a set.
Huh.
And it's kind of where some of my tools have gone to be retired.
Oh, yeah.
My air tools. I keep all my clamps down here for when I'm doing welding jobs.
Awesome. So do you do a lot of welding here?
Not a lot.
Gotcha.
Not nearly as much as I used to, but
Okay.
these are still good to have around. These are automatic ones, which I think are super cool.
What?
So they'll just automatically clamp to a surface without you having to twist a dial, and they're pretty tight.
Wow. Huh. Well, that'd be way handy if you're doing something.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to just have it set itself.
Huh.
I've loved having these things.
So you say a lot of these don't have the chains?
The automatic tire chains,
Yeah.
that's something that you know, isn't super common here in Utah.
Oh, okay.
Some of our Wyoming customers do.
Gotcha.
I mean, actually, most of them have automatic tire chains.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, this is just a rod for fishing wire and stuff through. When we're doing camera installations like video systems inside these buses. Yeah. Sometimes you use this, sometimes you use the metal tape.
Huh. Yeah, I didn't think about that. You got a long way to go.
Yeah. This is just like where I throw all my paperwork and junk.
Cool.
This is kind of a specialty drawer. All the oddball stuff that you have, like a wrench for doing antennas, fuel disconnects. Sometimes when you drop something, you need a big pair of tweezers.
Whoa. Oh, those would come in handy.
They have a few times, but you know,
are those Mac?
Yeah, those are Mac.
Oh, that's awesome.
But I think they're made by Mantis.
Nice.
But then also, you know, these guys for grabbing what you need that isn't magnetic.
Awesome.
If it's magnetic, then you grab your bendy magnet.
Oh, geez,
and then also stuff from when I used to do small automotive. So I would use this to find exhaust leaks. It's a regular vibration stethoscope, but just with a piece of brake hose on it, or brake tube.
Okay.
And then you can hear the smallest pinhole leaks in an exhaust system with this.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. So what's on? So
it's just open.
Just open.
So it can
Interesting.
hear the air flowing across it.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Another antenna wrench.
Oh, that's wild looking.
It's got all your different like for different antenna nuts.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then, you know, these different cutouts for,
Awesome.
it would probably work on the same thing as this.
Oh yeah.
And then this is just one of those angle gauges. You set on something and it'll tell you what the angle is. Compare it to anything else you want to compare it to.
Right. Huh. As far as like, because I know I'd use those like on like an alignment on a pickup truck or something. Do you guys do alignments on like buses and stuff?
Here we typically send them out.
Okay.
I used to do them when I did cement trucks, but
Gotcha.
we'll usually contract that out
Oh, okay.
to somebody that's a little more specialized in it.
Oh, okay. What about like, I mean, do you just get like a jack to put, like if you want to take a wheel off or something?
So I can show you how we lift these up. I mean, we do have bottle jacks,
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, you guys got a bunch over there.
but we also have these pillar lifts.
Oh my goodness, I didn't even see those. Those are massive.
So those, they move around like a pallet jack, and then you position it under a wheel, and you can link as many as you want together. We have 12 of them here.
Wow.
And you can lift the vehicle. So these will only need 4, but if you had, say, a coach, like a big traveling bus,
Yeah.
Greyhound or something,
When you
can
say
put
link
6.
them, like
They're wireless.
So are they like hydraulic? Like you just push a button and they go up?
They've got a control screen on each of them. Let's see. Let's look at one of the newer ones. They're all buried, but so they've got the control buttons. You have to go around and link them all together wirelessly.
Wow.
And they're all battery powered, so you don't have to have them plugged in when you're using them.
Huh.
But you go around and you link them all up, and then from a single lift, you hit the up button and it'll lift all 4,
Wow.
or how many ever you have linked.
That's crazy. And once these are up, do you have to put like a jack stand under, or do these?
They have
suffice?
locks built into them.
Oh, they do. Okay.
So you can lift it up to where you need it, and then I think it's every inch it has a lock, 1 or 2 inches. You can lower it down on the locks, and then it's as stable as if it was sitting on the ground.
Jeez, that's cool.
But we do also have jack stands if we're doing you know, work that requires us to have the wheels off these things.
Oh, gotcha. Man, that's cool. Thank you for showing me that.
Yeah.
I never would have guessed that you guys have.
So the jack stands we got over here in the corner.
They're massive.
So what you'll do with these is, if you got an axle in the air and you need to have it hanging to change an airbag or something, you'll set this under it.
Wow.
And it's adjustable as high as you'll need it to go. This also, for fine adjustments, this unscrews. You know, if you need anything between the 2 pinholes. But these are primarily for suspension work is what we use them for.
So, and you can roll them around until.
Yeah, so they're on wheels once you unfold them.
Oh my gosh.
And when it's got weight on it, it sits down on the pads.
That's amazing. Huh.
And that's great because you can just stick them in the corner because they fold up.
Yeah, they don't take much space at all.
Yeah.
Awesome. Sorry, I didn't mean to take you away from
No
your
worries.
box. That's so cool.
So let's see, where were we? Probably here.
Oh, yeah.
This is my punch drawer. I've got all my various punches for either punching holes in stuff or just your standard things.
Nice.
If you need to do something big, you got, you know, guys like that or this.
Nice. Yeah, that guy's seen some use in it.
Yeah, they're well used. And then your various flat steel punches, which it has this guy that comes with it, which is fine, but sometimes you got to get further away.
Yeah.
So I made this thing to do that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Pickle fork set, which,
Sweet.
to be totally honest, I don't use a lot here.
Yeah.
These are roll pin punches. So it's a different sizes of roll pin, and they've got a little dome on the top of them so that it centers over the roll pin. And it helps to drive them out or in without them going askew and doing something funky.
Yeah, it's funny how much of a lifesaver those are. Like,
Yeah.
You don't have those, and it is like a headache trying to get those out.
Oh yeah, and all the different sizes too. I mean, you try to do this with something, like a pointed punch, and it's just going to ruin your day because it'll try to spread the roll pin and it won't want to go out. And then I've got, the spring-loaded center punch.
Nice.
But then I've also got this center punch here, which you just pull back on and let it go.
That's cool.
This is the one I use more often because it's just easy.
Is it?
It's just so easy to, do
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And then you got a thing. It's easy also, but it's a lot more destructive.
Oh, okay.
And this is a little more precise.
Huh.
And this is where my air tools that are still in service are.
Nice.
But to be honest, most of these have pretty much been retired by electric tools.
Really?
They're taken over. I mean, there's not really anything to replace this yet.
Right.
But we'll see how the future goes.
I haven't seen anybody with the IR hammer. Does that hit pretty hard?
It does pretty good. I don't think it's quite as good as the snap-on one,
Gotcha.
but it served me well.
Nice.
And then I've got, my extra long bits. I used to have to chip concrete off of everything I worked on, so I went through a couple of these. Then I got my air gauge tire filler.
Nice.
Got a bunch of die grinders. I mean, this is a couple different drills. This is just a 3/8, and I got my 1/2 inch, and I got my 3/8 angle.
Oh yeah.
And this is also reversible, which is nice. This is something that I use specifically for installing the automatic tire chains.
Oh.
When you're setting them up, you have to put a little bit of air pressure to them to swing the arm out so that you can get all the alignments right as it makes contact with the tire.
Huh.
You don't want to put full pressure to it because you'll never be able to adjust it when they're fully pressurized.
Gotcha.
And this is basically my filing drawer.
Oh, that is like packed full of stuff, huh?
Yeah, and I also we work on a lot of wheelchair lifts, so I have test pendants because you can't always be assured that these are going to work on the customer's vehicle because it's a handheld thing and they like to drop them all the time.
Huh. So this is what would be normally inside of like a...
For a wheelchair lift.
Wheelchairs, okay.
If we have one here, I can show you. But
and this is just the tester that you have?
Well,
Or like a known good, I guess?
yeah, a known good one.
Okay.
It's a known good part.
All right.
I've got my steering wheel net to put on when I'm doing something and I don't want somebody to try to move the vehicle or start it or do something else.
That is like that. I haven't seen anybody with something like that, and that's something that's really valuable.
Yeah, so it's basically like a lockout tag out, but you put this around the steering wheel, and then you can put a note in here that says who put it on the steering wheel and why it's on there.
Oh man.
And
that's cool.
helps to keep people from messing with the vehicle while you got tore apart or while you're actively working on it.
Have like a hydraulic line that's open or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any situation like that where you don't want somebody to accidentally fire it up and make a mess or destroy something.
Yeah. Awesome. And this is this the 100? Did you just get that from like?
So this actually is specific to Thomas school buses, Thomas built buses. They had their 100th anniversary in 2016. I just decided to stick that on there.
That's cool.
This is just a standard Epic. I've stuck a couple things on it.
Man, that's awesome. And this is your other box. Man.
My other box.
I love that.
So this one, I started to collect a whole lot of the electric tools.
Yeah.
And it was getting to the point where I couldn't really keep them organized. So,
oh my goodness.
I went poking around on the classifieds ads, and I found this guy.
That's awesome.
With the pegboard, and that's kind of what I was looking for to do on this. but this was a lot more affordable because
Yeah.
it was secondhand.
So this came, or the hutch came with the
Yeah,
box? That's
yeah, it
cool.
was all one piece. Well, aside from the cabinet.
Gotcha, okay.
But the box and the hutch are one piece. They're
Whoa.
special edition U.S. Nationals
Look at
back
that.
box.
That's good. It opens up crazy. I didn't think it was going to do that. Wow. Oh, that's awesome. So it looks like you're a Milwaukee fan.
Well, so, you know, you start out with something and you get the batteries for it, and then you're kind of married to it.
Right.
I feel like I lucked out starting with these because they have done me really well.
Yeah.
Honestly, most of this stuff I would buy again in a heartbeat. Some of it, maybe not so much. I mean, I wouldn't buy another one of these ones.
Uh-huh.
I would probably pony up the money for the better one.
Okay.
I haven't been too happy with this, but everything else I've loved. I would buy it again.
That's awesome. Yeah, so you got the stubby 3/8. And then, oh, you have a whole lineup of ratchets here.
Yeah, so this is the high torque extended reach. This is just the standard 3/8 standard drive, standard torque.
Okay.
And then this is the high speed quarter. Then I got 3/8 right angle impact, 3/8 stubby, mid torque half inch, hex drive, angle drill, then my die grinders, oscillating tool,
Awesome.
the 18 volt hex drive, and then you know, my batteries and chargers.
Yeah. Where is this, like made for batteries?
Yeah.
This tray? That's cool.
Yeah, it's just a Amazon special.
Oh, no way.
I just put the feet on it so it could stand up. It's meant to mount to something,
Oh, okay.
but I prefer it to be a little more mobile.
Yeah.
I've got Velcro down. This one is screwed to the box,
Oh, okay.
but it's the same thing. It's meant to hold the batteries.
That's awesome. You don't see very many people with the mid torque, and I feel like it's very underrated because everybody springs for, you know, the massive,
big
like,
one.
high.
Yeah.
But like that thing does like 80% of what like the high torque does. and,
Absolutely.
like,
I've been really happy with it.
that's awesome. You don't have to like lug around that massive thing all day.
Yeah.
Got a bunch of Hot Wheels over there.
Yeah.
Was that
so,
your RX-7 outside?
Yeah. Yeah. So
Love it.
that's
That's it.
essentially the same car right there.
That's awesome.
But yeah.
That's cool. There aren't many people out there that know much about rotaries. That's really cool.
I enjoy it. It's fun to drive. It makes unique sounds, and
Yeah,
you know, it's just a joy to drive it.
that's cool. And this stainless, do you do much work on top here?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's cool.
I added this is a stick-on ruler. I added it because we had to cut a bunch of lengths of the reflective tape for the buses.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
This just made it more convenient to measure it
Yeah.
than, you know, fighting a tape measure, because this is stationary and it's stuck down.
Huh. And so this is special edition. I didn't even realize that. 125 out of 150.
Yeah,
That's sweet.
it's signed by a lot of the drivers from 2001 when
Oh,
this came
man.
out.
That's so cool.
And then
Man, more stuff.
more cordless.
Holy cow.
This is why I bought this box. So, you know, I don't stay just Milwaukee. I'll get other stuff if
Okay.
I can, if it's affordable or whatever.
Sure.
But, you know, I've got my weird stuff like soldering iron. I actually prefer this one to the Milwaukee one
Oh, do you?
because it's got a thing to hold this instead of having this hanging out in space ready to
Oh, gotcha.
burn
yeah,
you when you walk by.
For sure.
And if you're careful, of course, you're not going to get burned by it, but you know, I've been known to not be careful. Heat gun, glue gun, couple of batteries. That's all I really need for the Ryobi stuff.
Nice. Does this heat gun eat up the batteries like pretty fast? I guess these
Yes.
are pretty big batteries though.
Yeah, they're
4
4 amp, but it does.
Does it?
I basically just use this for decals.
Oh, okay.
You heat them up to either fix imperfections or to tear them off if you know they want to change it up.
Gotcha.
And then, you know, I've got my jigsaw, my hacksaw. This thing I've really loved using. It's handy for lots of different things. This one's pretty recent purchase.
Holy cow.
Not often you need something like this, but we do camera installs on these.
Okay.
And some of the cameras require like a 3-inch hole drilled through metal.
Wow.
And this thing loves it.
Man. I don't think I've seen that before. Is it like, so it's just like a right angle, like 1/2 inch drill?
Yeah, and it's the whole hog. It's
Whole hog.
meant for using hole saws or
man.
the long auger bits.
That is cool.
It's specifically designed for that reason. This one, absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Being able to do a rivet with a pull of a trigger up to 3/16.
Oh man.
This thing is amazing. I love it.
So is that pretty quick when you start using it? Like,
Oh yeah.
wow.
Yeah, it's one pull. It takes about a second to set a rivet.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the strain it takes off of your hands is worth every dollar.
That's awesome. Yeah, I could imagine if you're doing like a panel or something. Or,
Yeah.
yeah.
So then I got my angle grinder, due for a new disc it seems. Got my 3/8 or 1/2 inch drill,
Nice.
bits, drill bits,
Nice.
more bits. These are long reach, which come in handy more often than you'd think.
Oh yeah.
What I did is I bought the Blue Point set. Unfortunately, the Blue Point bits aren't warranty, but when I break one off, I replace it with the snap-on one.
Oh sweet.
And then if that one breaks again, then I'll just, it'll be warranty.
Yeah.
Then I have this thing, which is actually,
What is that?
this is the one with the changeable heads. So it can be a drill, it can be an off center, which this right here, when you're doing certain things interior and you don't have the space on the side, this is lovely.
Wow, that's like a game changer right
Oh
there.
yeah.
Holy cow.
I mean, I primarily bought it because of the clutch, because when you're setting screws, the impact can get a little wild.
Oh, okay.
But this, you don't have to worry about it because it hits the clutch and it saves you from stripping stuff out.
That's awesome.
You also have 90 degrees, you know, if you need to get into a tight space.
Uh-huh.
This works great for that. And then just the standard driver head.
That's awesome.
I've loved this thing. Since I've bought this, I almost never even touch this one anymore.
Really?
And this is great. This is a great impact. It does anything you ask of it, aside from getting into tight spaces. I mean, it gets into most spaces, but
Nice. Yeah, but I mean, if you have that. you might
but
as
since
well
I've had
just-
that other one, I almost never grabbed for this one anymore.
Interesting. That's cool.
And then this is a really recent one. This is awesome.
Nice.
This is the band file. Most recently, I've just been using it we've been doing some bumper modifications. It's great for cleaning up the edge on something.
Oh, yeah.
And you can also use it to take out rivets. You just file against them. It takes them out in pretty much no time.
Oh, sweet.
If it's something like stainless where drilling through it
Uh-huh.
is going to be, you know, a real chore, this will wipe it out pretty quick.
Awesome.
And then just because this drawer has the length, I keep my long pry bar in here.
Nice.
Luckily, I don't have to grab for that too often,
Yeah.
but when you need it, you need it.
Oh, yeah.
This is my soldering and odd connectors drawer. You know, when you've got weird connector packs that you have to deal with. And then this is a soldering clamp or holder. Screw these in, and you can clamp onto whatever you're soldering.
Okay, that's cool.
You put two of them in and you hold your two wires together
Wow.
so that you don't have, you know,
Yeah.
a juggling act. I mean, it's a big version of this.
Yeah, I've seen that. That is like a whole nother level there. Holy cow.
Yeah. So this is, I got some specialized drivers in here. These are Torx. This is mostly electrical stuff. I got all my de-pinning tools. I've got my wire stripper for big cable.
Hold on. What? Oh, that goes like around.
So you clamp this onto a cable, you spin it around it,
Okay.
turn your blade, and then slice it, and then you can peel the casing right off.
Whoa.
This is really nice.
That's awesome.
This is for feeding wire through rubber or foam. Typically on these, we're going through expanding foam.
Okay.
So you stab this through, and then you got a nice clean shot
So cool.
to feed your wire through, or you can feed a piece of fish line through, and then pull this off, and then tie your fish line to whatever, and pull it through if it's something that won't fit through this.
Huh.
And you can obviously see it's been used around a lot of undercoating. That stuff doesn't ever come off.
Yeah.
And then all my various, crimpers and pliers and cutters for different electrical situations, or connectors and pins.
Nice.
This one's nice because it's a single shot weather pack. So you put your weather pack connector in there, squeeze it down, and it'll do both crimps at once.
Oh, no way.
It'll crimp the wire and the insulator at the same time. So on these weather pack connectors,
okay.
you have your, let's grab one that's a little easier. You have your terminals. You take this, you slide it into the pocket there, and it's got two sets of crimpers here. The inside set will crimp it to the wire, and the outside will crimp it to the weather seal.
Oh, okay.
Usually, with the standard pair of pliers, you have to crimp the wire and then you crimp the weather seal.
Gotcha.
So this takes one step out, makes you faster.
Yeah, thank you for showing me that. That's really cool.
So these do a similar thing with insulated connectors.
Okay.
You stick those in there and it'll crimp that down to the wire and save you time. These are also a lot easier on your hands than this style, which I used for years and years. But then I tried these out and I don't even touch these anymore.
Oh, really?
I've been doing this for 20 years. After 20 plus years, after that much time, you start to try to find the stuff that's easier on your hands so that you still have motor function when you get home from work.
Sure. My
little torch for heat shrink and stuff, but I've kind of started using my electric one because it's not an open flame. If you're not careful or you lack the attention for a second, you can roast a wire like a marshmallow a little bit. Yeah. Doesn't happen often, but it never happens with the electric one. So this is more electrical stuff. These fun looking things.
Yeah, what is that?
They're meant for putting split loom on. You get your wire in through here, you rotate it shut, and then you feed your split loom on, and it puts it onto the wire that you're working with.
Oh, wow.
Now this big guy here I've never had to use, that's why it's so clean.
Huh.
But these other ones I've used a few times, and they're handy.
That'd be a time saver.
Yeah.
Trying to put your finger in, like your thumb in there.
And a thumb saver too.
Yeah.
Because that stuff, even though it's plastic, it'll cut you up.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So then I have a couple meters, depending on what I'm running into or doing. This one has served me well for probably 15 years. And this does everything you need, basically. But you can get away with, the cheaper ones. This is a $20 meter. It'll do most of everything that the other ones do.
Nice.
That being said, I still did spend the money, and I got the Bluetooth snap-on one.
Wow. Look at that.
Because when you're working on a vehicle that's 40 feet long, and you're testing something at the front, and then you need to be at the back wiggling wires trying to get it to fail or something, you can have this connected to your phone and then you can see what's going on.
Wow.
That does come in handy on occasion, so this is a good have.
That's awesome.
More electrical power probe stuff. We don't use that too much anymore.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever justified using one of these, because this stabs a hole in your wire, so then you have to repair it afterwards. I usually try to find my way to the closest connector, because stabbing holes in wires ain't nice.
Sure.
But this is handy for doing bench testing. If you've got a component that you're not sure about, you can hook it up with this and check to make sure that everything's working right.
Yeah.
This is for doing temperatures. This is what we use when we're checking ACs. So you've got your one temperature probe that is remote, and then usually you set this, say, on the dash or something.
I think that would come in handy too, like being on a something really long.
Yeah,
If you wanted to take
Yep.
two different. Yeah, that's cool.
that's exactly what it's for. Then regular thermal gun. This is for finding leaks, either AC or oil. So it's a
Whoa.
black light. It's got a laser pointer in it too, but usually you just need the black
Oh
light.
yeah, that's like way powerful.
And
I
then
wasn't expecting that.
It's also got just a regular light, but
Nice.
this is primarily for finding leaks with the UV dye.
Yeah, that's awesome. Who makes that?
This is a Fluke.
Fluke. Huh.
And down here we have more specialized stuff that doesn't get used as much. This is for ventilation when you're doing soldering. It's just a big fan with a filter on it.
Oh, okay. So it still moves air, just not like.
It pulls the air so it's not going up in your
okay.
face.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And it keeps all those fumes from being sucked into your lungs.
Yeah.
This is for fuel pressure and, pressure, vacuum. It does all kinds of different stuff.
Oh, wireless.
This
huh?
is, like the meter, you can hook this up to your phone. But
What?
it has a whole bunch of different operations it does.
Whoa. So I mean, you could do like compression tests or
Compression, vacuum,
No way.
pressure.
like, can you do like fuel too?
Yeah.
What? That's so cool.
This is my other scope. This is the one that I go to anymore. I don't use the one that plugs into the phone
Okay.
because this one already has built in the thing that'll hold its position.
Gotcha. Yeah. Man, I didn't know that came off. That's cool.
But this, this has been real handy. Places where you can't poke your head,
Yeah.
and you need to know what's going on. This thing is
Does that
incredibly
record
valuable.
and stuff? Like.
Yeah, it records. You can take pictures.
Oh man,
It does everything you would need out of a scope.
that's awesome. Man, I can't get over that. That is.
Yeah.
That takes the place of like 3-4 different tools. Mm-hmm. It's probably like 3 or 4 times the price.
It wasn't super cheap, but
That's awesome.
it's one of those things that even though it is expensive, what it does makes it worth it. Its value is great.
Absolutely.
This is where I keep overflow, like tool bags and stuff. I do have my little vacuum guy
Oh, nice.
for doing bleeding brakes and stuff and testing vacuum components. But mostly this drawer is road call tool bags and stuff.
Nice. So do you do many like road calls and stuff?
Not so much. We used to do a lot of road calls.
Really?
So, it was necessary to have all the bags, but it's just a holdover from stuff we used to do.
Oh, gotcha.
This is extra stuff for the toolbox, extra hooks and stuff if I decide to change this up, which happens. Extra light strip, because I did put the light strip in here. This toolbox originally was just a cave, so you couldn't see the stuff in there.
That's cool.
And I decided to go fancy with, strobing party lights.
I love it.
And this is my screw organization. We go through a lot of screws working on school buses, so
Yeah.
this is occasionally you need a school bus yellow painted screw
Yeah.
or various different interior screws. So this is the way I keep it organized so I can find it quickly and move on with my life.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is the bulk of my pliers. Not a whole lot that I need,
Man,
but
so
some of these
organized.
are crucial. Especially these, when you're doing anything with the interior heaters on these, they have 1-inch hose, heater hose. So if you have to work on a component, fix a leak, whatever, these are great. You clamp it off, and then you can work on the component without losing too much coolant.
Nice.
And then I've got 5 of those because sometimes you need 5 of those. Then, these guys for grabbing stuck screws or something,
Oh yeah.
these work great for that. These have really good grip. superior to pretty much anything else I've used. And then sometimes you really just need to mess something up.
Oh my goodness.
And you got to get the Godzilla pliers.
Ridiculous. Holy cow.
Yeah, like these things, these were the best thing to have when I used to work on cement trucks because we did so much work with pipes and valves. These were used every single day.
Nice. Those are like the parrot draw kind of?
Yeah.
Those are cool.
And I don't use them as much here, but they are still a great tool to have.
Nice. And this wrench organizer, is this, or not wrench, the pliers organizer,
Yeah.
is that something special? Where's that from?
Lyle.
That's Lyle, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that. You don't see, usually you see like the wire one. It's kind of nice. It has a plastic.
Yeah, and it's different widths too. So you've got the bigger ones here, and then the rest are this size.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nice to have. This is kind of office supply stuff. And this is kind of a jumble, but I have caps and plugs for when you're doing various messy jobs and you just need it to stop leaking fluids all over you. But I also have, you know, my circular saw, which you do need sometimes working on buses. Awesome. And then I have my portaband.
Oh wow, that's nice.
And these just live here because it's the only place they really fit well.
Oh, that's cool.
Then we have the roll cart.
Oh, that's yours as well. Oh man, that's
so
sweet.
This is just the Blue Point roll cart. I've added a paper towel roll to it.
Oh, nice.
Because I always need towels.
Yeah, that's cool. And so it's height adjustable, right?
Yes.
That's cool.
But I did add this thing for the cans on the back of here because it doesn't come with one.
Oh, okay.
It has a thing for screwdrivers and stuff, which I never use, but it didn't have anything for these.
Huh. Yeah,
So you'd have them just kind of rattling around on here. And as you're rolling this around the cart, around the shop, you hit a bump, this falls over, it goes off, and then it blows up. And so it needed something to hold these so they wouldn't go dancing around the shop.
Nice.
And then the cabinet, which
awesome.
I keep just random stuff in here. I've got my face shield in the back there. This is a full respirator mask with the face shield built into it.
Oh, nice.
Because sometimes you're doing extra nasty stuff. You want to have the full respirator shield.
Nice.
But then, you know, I've got all my welding gear. Got the hood, gloves, jacket, which is great for, you know, keeping your arms minus a bunch of burns and holes.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there should have been a cap. Oh, here it is. To keep your skull safe.
Oh, yeah. So do you guys, what type of welding would you do here?
We've done full fabrication down to just welding a stud back on a ground stud.
Oh.
That's the more common thing lately is broken ground studs. We'll weld them back on.
Huh.
But we've done projects where we've completely fabricated like a set of stairs. We don't do that too much, but we have done it in the past.
Nice.
Then I just have first aid kit. I have this thing for when I'm messing with screws. You just dump all your screws out in here. You can sift through them and find what you need.
Yeah.
And it's the right size to dump back into a mason jar if you're storing them that way. Also works pretty good with the bags.
Oh, yeah.
I keep all my rechargeable lights right here, and I've got a power strip to keep them all fed.
Awesome. Do you have a go-to light that you use every day?
The one that I would go to is, depending on what it is, these two.
Gotcha.
This one because it's compact and it can take a beating, and it has taken many beatings. This one because it's fairly versatile.
Holy moly.
With the way you can point it. Like this one can't point in on itself, whereas this one can.
Oh, okay.
And this one also has where you can change the color temperature.
Oh, wow. What would you need that for?
If you're doing like paint work.
Oh, okay.
It's really good for seeing imperfections and paint.
Huh.
Then these right now basically empty because I've been restructuring this.
Cool.
Got a bunch of hats.
Awesome. That's cool.
And then a mirror to, you know, pull slivers out of my face or whatever.
Oh, geez.
You know, see what I've stabbed into my eye.
Oh, goodness.
I've got a little ventilation fan for if you're in a tight area and you're messing with fumey stuff, paint or
nice.
whatever.
Yeah.
And then on the side of my toolbox, I've got some random stuff too.
Awesome. That's cool. And so how is this mounted to the box? Is this?
So I made a adapter plate, kind of,
Okay.
so that it could hang on there naturally.
Yeah, that's
I
sweet.
also, using the factory holes in this box, I screwed a adapter that I made on the back to make it stable.
Oh, okay.
That'd be easier to see from the back
Okay,
side.
yeah.
It's just a piece of aluminum.
Oh, okay.
I didn't want to drill any holes in the Mac box because it just hurts my soul to do something like that. I didn't have any problems drilling holes in the Harbor Freight thing.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
that's to help mount that on there so it's not wobbling around.
Awesome. One last thing, your glasses. I noticed you have.
Oh yeah, these are the Coast light up glasses. They've got 2 brightness settings. I love these things
Yeah.
because you can have your hands free while you got your light on and you're
Oh,
working on
man,
something.
Yeah.
And it's always pointing where you're looking.
That's super bright too.
If I had a single gripe about these is that it only has the light on the one side.
Oh, okay.
Because occasionally you've got to stuff your head in a tight spot
Oh,
and the light's on the opposite side.
Gotcha. You're like taking your glasses off.
Yeah. So then you grab for the pocket
Oh,
light.
okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
You always have 2 lights on you.
Awesome. Such a sweet setup. I don't see very many people that have 2 full, like completely full boxes. That's something else.
Yeah, I mean, the argument could be made that I could organize it in a way that it would work better, but there's no way I would be able to get everything in the single box.
No, you got.
This had to happen. It's expensive, but it helps me in my everyday battle to
Man,
try to convince myself that I like doing this.
that's so awesome. Well, Jonathan, I really do appreciate you taking time out of your day to meet up with me and show me all of your tools. Man, you have such a sweet setup. But gosh,
Well, thank you.
yeah. Till the next one, guys. We'll see you.